Hey everybody, here is a little video update. I've been working on a tree costume for the Nurtury. The Nurtury is a really awesome store on Main Street here in Gloucester, Virginia, where we live. And they asked me to make them a tree costume for their fairy festival they put on every year. So this is actually next weekend. The good thing is with Corona and all that, it is outdoors on Main Street, so you can keep your social distancing and still have a good time, bring the kids, all that kind of good stuff. And but I wanted to do a little video update of where I'm at. I tell you, one thing I'm missing my old workshop, that paint booth. So one thing that makes me laugh is everybody was looking at the build progress pictures and they were like, is it gonna stay bright colored like that? You know, and what I've done is I've made the pieces and then I've cut slits and I cut lines in it to look like birch bark. So it's supposed to look like a birch tree. What I'm doing now is I've got everything up and hanging out, and I'm starting to put the coats of Plastidip on it. So it's going to get, I don't know, probably about 4 coats of Plastidip. These are the boots. And I had a lot of fun making like little fairy doors and, you know, little fairy steps and stuff going up and little hidden doors down at the bottom. Now I got to put my mask on, that bad boy right there, and get to work. It is somewhere in the 90s right now, so it's really freaking hot. And probably all 12 cans of this plastic. Okay, so like 7 cans of Plastidip down. And I got a good first coat on everything. The reason why I like Plastidip, I know there are other methods, but I have found that if you, with the heat gun over everything, then it seals the EVA foam. And when you use the bright or the 2mm sheets, like I did it for bark, I went over the edges and all of the parts where I'd done splits, it opened up, the edges curled up, so it looks like bark that's peeling, and it looks, I think, really cool. I'm going to show you now what it looks like, but I will say that Plastidip is really awesome at getting a good coverage, even over things that you don't want to get it covered on. So overspray is bad. That's why I hung up a couple old blankets and stuff to kind of make my own little paint booth wall. But yeah, here you can see once you get it. One of the reasons why I like the bright colored stuff too is when I get the Plastidip going on it, there's no mistaking did I get it a good coverage or not, because you don't see any rainbow colored stuff anymore. So to me that's super awesome. You can start to see, like, you know, when you do it with the heat gun, it curls up the stuff. It makes it look a little bit more like bark. What I'm going to do now is cool down, drink some water, and then I'm going to put a complete coat of gloss black. The reason why I'm going to do gloss black is because I like a glossy surface to paint on. I don't want a glossy tree, but I do want a good surface to paint on, so I use a gloss black enamel, and that just seems to be the magic for my experience. You know, and then I'm going to paint it with white chalk paint, and so on the surface of it, and I'm going to do a little thin down so that you'll have some of the black coming through, and with all luck, it's going to look really cool, like a birch tree. Not really monster. We're not going for creepy scary. We're just kind of going for this tree costume. What I like to use, Rust-Oleum Gloss Protective Enamel, and I feel like it does a really great job in combination with the Plastidip. so that you get a good flexible surface. And I've been wearing my Space Marine suit for about 5 years now to a lot of conventions, and it has held up really well. This paint, though, let me tell you, this is like a freaking ginormous can. It's amazing. But I have found that the tip of this is like if you want to paint, I don't know if you're going to paint a car, but look at this tip. This gives you a super wide spray. I'm probably not going to use it on this because I'll end up spray painting everything in the garage black. I need a little bit more control, but say you want to do big surfaces and you have the space, this is a freaking amazing can. Alright, so after I took the Plastidip, I did the black gloss enamel. And that just really, like I said, strengthens up the EVA foam. And then I brushed on white, and I did it, you know, over the 2mm foam here. I did it not with like a perfect coverage. I guess you could debate on what looks more like Birch and what doesn't. I liked it like this, you know, just to give a much better texture. So when you're looking at it, up close it looks good, but from a distance it's more dramatic. I went back in and I added in more of a cream color, you know, to kind of give it some more texture. I have done like a green and kind of purplish color. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of different grays and I'm going to go back and do this so it looks like stone, because these are supposed to be, you know, like fairy walkways that made out of stone. And then I'll come back in with some brown and brush over it so it won't be solid. It'll just have all the kind of different colors. Got my fairy doors worked into the costume, and then what I'm going to do, final step will be I use my airbrush and I'll take some kind of like a reddish brown, and in some of the areas of the holes in the bark I'll brush kind of a pattern that goes like this and then down, and so kind of like a little dripping look. I looked at lots of pictures, and my wife showed me lots of pictures on Pinterest of birch bark, and a lot of it has that kind of that look. And if you're in the Gloucester, Virginia area, please come by the Gloucester Main Street and participate in the Fairy Fest. I think you'll have a good time. It's outdoors, so you can get some social distancing and all that kind of good stuff and not have to worry about contacting and getting sick. And you get to see this in person with our lovely model Ariel, who will be wearing this and probably cursing me because the heat.